Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you a little bit about filtering. And there's different ways that you can filter. So I have that same just worksheet back open again, and it's still partially sorted here. And I want to look at just some basic ways to filter and also to find cells, again, which can be helpful when trying to sort through a larger database like we have here. So the first thing we'll review is to just use the find feature. So again, we've seen this before, but just to kind of remind that it is a feature that we have here, for instance. I'm going to go back to the Home tab as well. So that find feature is over here on the right on the Home tab under Editing. The home ribbon, excuse me, under editing. And then it's this little magnifying glass here. So there's different things that we've done with it, right? So there's the find feature, we've used the replace feature as well. There's different things that you can do, but the find feature can be nice if you're trying to look for a specific value, for instance, in the document. So for instance, maybe I would like to find who is receiving a bonus of 4,500 out of all these people. And of course, I could just sort this and kind of manually go through it, but maybe it's a little bit faster just to use the find feature here. So what I could do here, again, you can replace, or we're not going to replace, we're just going to find, is I would put in the exact thing that I'm looking for. So I'm looking for the value of 4,500. And I want to do it within just this particular sheet. So you can search the entire workbook if you want, or you can focus on the sheet. So I'm just going to focus on this sheet here. And then you want to look at, in this case, values, right? So that 4,500 was not a formula or a note or a comment. It's a value that's in the cell. So we're going to select what to look for. And then for this particular case, I do want to match the entire cell contents, right? So if I want a not a full match, then I don't have to click it, but I would like it to be an exact match basically here. So the 4,500 exactly. And then I'm going to go ahead and just click find all. And you can see here that there are 4 employees that came up as having that bonus of 4,500. Now, just keep in mind that the 4,500 could be anywhere in the worksheet. So in this case, I know it is the extra part of their salary because that's the only time I see 4,500. Like, no one is getting a base salary of 4,500. No one has a ID number of 4,500. So I know it's from that column, but it does search the entire worksheet. So that's something to keep in mind is, if some of your values appear in more than one column, then those would be coming up as well. And then what you can do is you can actually click on the employee, and you can see the background is moving here, and it will find that cell where it has the 4,500. So you can kind of, go to that employee and then look a little bit more carefully. Okay, this one here is for, Michael. If I click this one here, this one is for Paula, etc. So I can actually click the 4 places that it's found, and if I click them, Excel will go right to that cell. So that's a nice feature here. As well, if you're just trying to find a particular value or a data point, employee ID number or something like that in the mix. Another nice little shortcut for selecting an entire data range. So here again, we have a very particular data range, right? It's very organized. We have our columns, we have our rows of data. If you select any cell within that data range, and again, you go to the find feature and go to special, again, you can look for different things. So it's not just a value that you can look for, right? You can look for different things here. But if you select current region, it actually is a fast way to highlight the entire data range for you. So just a nice little trick. For me, I probably just click and drag and highlight because it doesn't take that long. But that's a nice way to kind of quickly select data as well, is to use that go to special feature there. All right, so the other thing I want to show you in this video is about filtering, and I actually already have it set up to filter. That's why you see these little tabs here. But let me show you how to turn that on and off. So if I go to data, it's right next to the sort buttons that we've been using. And this is your filter. So if I don't have it clicked, I will not see those filter features appear. Whereas if I have it clicked, let's see, I have to select something in my data range first. And if I have it clicked, it will automatically put those features in. And again, it works here because we have a data range. So it's a very specific formatting that Excel is very used to, right? Having those headers up top and then the rows are your data information there. So as long as I click anywhere within the data range, then Excel is recognizing that these can be listed as filters instead. So you can select that on and off. And then what you can do is you actually can click each of these columns here and select what you want to view. So it doesn't delete everything. It just, again, it helps make larger data easier to view. So for instance here, I think your book suggests going to the office menu. Click select all so that nothing is selected. And then maybe we just want to have data from Chicago showing. So I can click that, hit OK, and notice that the rest of the data is now hidden. It's just Chicago. And you can see on the left here that we're viewing rows down to 241. And then you can see there's a jump because they're hiding the rest of the data. And same thing up top. So they're hiding the data between rows 4 and 110. So we can filter that way. And you see this little note, you can see that has a little filter mark on it so that we have filtered this column. And you can keep filtering. So let's say I want to focus on employees in Chicago and who only work in IT and R&D. So I can filter it further and this will narrow the rows down. I can click OK. And again, you can see now that I have Chicago, but I only have IT and R&D employees. You can also do additional filters. So let me see, I'm going to go to the hire date, and maybe I'd like to filter this further and only look at certain hire dates. So here, they do have it selected as for all years. So if you know it's just like a particular year, you can just select, and that's really easy. But you can also customize your date filters. So if I highlight over date filters here, I can search for a particular month, a week, or I can do before, after, or between, or equals. So these ones here tend to be really helpful. Maybe you only want to look at employees who are hired after the year 2000, 2020, or a particular date in 2020, for instance, right? Or before or between, etc. So here we will do after. I'm just going to follow along with your text for a second. And they want us to have it after or equal to, and the date your book would like us to use is January 1st, 2024. We're going to leave the and option on here, and then we're going to select before or equal to, and we're going to use 12/31, 2024 here. So you have an and an or feature here. I encourage you to play around with it. Your book does note that it does not have an or feature, but I have used the or feature and it seems to work okay. So I encourage you to, just kind of play around with both of them. And if it's not working, then, always check your data, right? So look at what you're doing and make sure it makes sense. But this one is looking at hire dates that are after January 1st or January 1st, 2024, and before 12/31/2024. So we're looking at the year 2024 here in particular. And if I click OK, again, you will see that that updates again. So we've narrowed down the rows that we're looking at here. And again, they're not being deleted. We're just focusing on where they occur. And you can see that they're telling us which rows it is as well. All right, we're also going to do it one more time. So I'm going to move my face out of the way there. Let's filter the base salary as well. And here you have number filters. So that, again, different columns will have different kinds of filters depending on what the category is or what the type of data it is. And what your book wants us to look at here is greater than or equal to. And we're going to look at 90,000 as the cutoff. We don't need to have another limit. We just want to know any salaries that are bigger than 90,000. and I'm going to hit OK, and you'll see that we've narrowed it down to 2 employees. So we use our filter feature here to sort through. So I'm just looking at the Chicago office, those who are in IT or R&D, those who are hired in 2024, and those who have salaries higher than 90,000. So I'm able to filter down. And again, I'm not deleting anything. I'm just changing the viewing rows that I'm looking at here. And again, this works particularly well because we are in a established data range. So it may be a little bit more challenging if your data is not organized as well to filter appropriately. So it is nice to have an organized worksheet, obviously, whenever you can. When you're done with the filters, you can clear them out. So you can see up here that you have a clear feature. So you're not stuck with those filters forever. You can hit clear, and it will clear those filters out for you. So that's just a little tip there as well. Now, there's another way to do more advanced filters here too. So I do want to show you that in this video. So what I'm going to do is I have a second worksheet. It's from your text that's included with this module, and it has some of the same headers on it that I would like to kind of filter my data into. So I'm going to show you that worksheet. I'm going to go to the filters tab on the bottom, and you can see this is an advanced filter search. So again, we just kind of created a new, this is actually a new workbook, excuse me, a new workbook here. And we're going to focus on the office, the department, and then a base salary, so a lower and upper value. So again, just a different way that we can filter here as well. So your book wants to look at 2 different cases. So what you do on this worksheet here is you fill in the criteria that you're looking for. And again, your title should be matching your other titles as well on the other worksheet or workbook in this case. So we're going to look at 2 different occurrences. So we're going to look at first the Dallas office. And I want to focus on the accounting department. And my lower limit for the base salary is going to be 60,000. So I'm going to type this in as greater than or equal to 60,000. And my upper limit here is going to be 70,000. So I'm going to use less than or equal to 70,000. I also want to look at the Denver office in the accounting department. And my base salary here, my lowest one is going to be 80,000. So I'm looking at greater than or equal to 80,000. And then my upper limit is going to be 90,000 here. All right, so I'm looking at these 2 different cases. And again, I could filter it the other way, but it kind of would take me a long time, a little bit longer, right? Because I have to kind of filter each column individually. Again, just a different way to do it for when you have multiple filters that you're going to be applying. This could be a nice strategy. So a couple key things here again is you are using the same titles or headers or labels as you are in your other document where the data is. And then below it, you're putting in what your restrictions are. So we're looking for Dallas and accounting between $60,000 and $70,000, and those who are in Denver and accounting between $80,000 and $90,000. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go to our data tab. Our data tab here. And again, if it doesn't highlight, just kind of click somewhere else on your screen for a second there. And I'm going to go to advanced. And you can actually see that it automatically kind of highlighted it. I recognized what I was doing here. So our list is, our data is not here, right? It's in another location. So I'm going to select copy to another location here. And also I don't want to, I don't want to filter the list in place, meaning like I don't want to enter I don't want to edit my original data set. I want to, copy to another location here. So I'm going to select that so I don't like overwrite anything or filter it in place if I don't want to. So I select copy to another location. Now my list range though is not this. My list range is in the other document. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete this. I'm going to open my other document. Now, My other document is open on my computer still. So it is open at the same time. I just don't have it viewable at the same time. And I'm going to select here the entire data range. So I'm going to go from A4, including my labels, all the way over to M, which is my last column, and I'm going all the way down to 538. And again, you can do this in different ways. You could type it into, but I think it's just easier sometimes just to click and highlight. Now your criteria range is back here in the new worksheet and new workbook that we created. So again, I'm going to highlight my titles as well, not advanced filter search, but the same titles that I've used in the other worksheet. I'm going to highlight that. And then copy to, so I'm going to tell it where I want to put my information. So I'm going to just have it put below this, and I'm just going to select cell A9. So I want it to stay in this sheet. Again, I don't want to overwrite any other material or filter my original data right now. I just want to kind of bring it in over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. All right, and this was the other worksheet that I took it from. So let me check out my worksheet here with my filters, and there's the data. So you can see here, I have employees who are in accounting in Denver and Dallas. And then in Dallas, it's those who make between 60 and 70,000. And then in Denver, it's those who make between 80 and 90,000. So this is another way to do advanced filtering. Again, particularly if you have a lot of different filters that you want to employ. The first technique is pretty nice if you're not doing too much filtering, if you just kind of try to narrow down some of the rows, or it's going to be pretty quick. But if you have a lot of different criteria that you want to look at, then this is a nice strategy to use the more advanced filtering techniques. You don't have to create an entirely new workbook here. You could do it on the same worksheet, but again, because our data is so nicely organized into that data range, I would encourage you to at least create a new worksheet so that you're not messing up that data, right? Where it is so nicely organized.